Today on Studio G, we talk about concealed weapons on campus, what faculties and students have to say about them.
A UNLV alumni holds a Guinness World Record. Stay tuned to find out what for.
And Councilman Stavros Anthony is here to talk about medical marijuana dispensaries in Las Vegas.
Don't touch that mouse. Studio G starts right now. Happy April Fool's Day. I'm Daphne Barreto.
And I'm Kyle King. General Motors has recalled an additional 1.3 million vehicles with a power steering defect. This brings the number of vehicles recalled by the company to 6.1 million since February. Many different models are included in the recall, and the company expects to lose $750 million in the first quarter.
Yesterday was the deadline to sign up for Obamacare. Most Americans who aren't insured today will have to pay a penalty. Some people have been given an extension, but it is a case-by-case basis. The White House's original target was to have at least 7 million people signed up, and after a surge in last-minute enrollments, they expect their target to be met. President Obama will address the nation regarding this matter today at 1:15 p.m. from the Rose Garden.
Moving on to some local news, concealed weapons on UNLV's campus have become a topic of interest, and there are strong opinions on both sides of the issue. Reporter Adara DePaulis tells us more.
Join the upper and lower receiver. Engage the receiver pivot pin. Seat the takedown pin. Pull the charging handle reward. Seat the magazine into the magazine well. Return the changing handle forward. Painful memories and broken hearts. This is the place where family and friends come to see their loved ones. Recently, the chancellor and the state legislators did not pass the law of allowing concealed weapons on campus.
The current law is that there are no weapons allowed on campus. That's in the Nevada revised statutes, and it's been, I know recently it's been through 2 legislative sessions, and they were upheld that there'll be no guns concealed or open carry at all on campus.
Even though the ruling is intact, the issue on whether concealed weapons should be allowed on college campuses is still debatable between students and faculty.
With the recent school shootings that have occurred, I think it is important for us to be able to protect ourselves, not only as students, but as Americans. At the same time, you don't want somebody that's not of the right mind to go off on a professor or go off on a fellow student and pull his gun and cause a mass shooting again.
The tragic school shootings that have occurred throughout the years, such as Columbine, Virginia Tech, and most recently, Sandy Hook, has taken a toll on the nation. Dr. Joel Lieberman, chair of the Criminal Justice Department, thinks that allowing students to carry guns on campus will be more harmful than helpful.
When people are in possession of guns, sometimes they'll feel encouraged to take actions that they normally wouldn't take. So if there was an unfortunate incident that occurred on campus, you might have someone who normally wouldn't become involved, which would be great if that person was able to prevent some violent crimes, mass shooting from happening, but that's typically not what happens.
For Studio G, I'm Adara DePaulis.
It seems like this is one of the many issues that Americans may never agree on.
The Persian New Year was celebrated last week in the Student Union, and a singer describes his experience and what made it unique. Reporter Avin Loy has the story.
This is all about art, all about life, and positive energy.
Sharon Vesey is referring to his role during the Persian New Year celebration at the Philip J. Cohen Theater in the UNLV Student Union.
I like art, I like singing, so I do this in my culture. I'm Iranian, so I sing a song in my language. So this is very nice to be here, to support each other, and to make something different.
The atmosphere while performing at UNLV is noticeably different than performing in Iran.
The big difference is freedom. because when I do this thing, in my country, it was, they never let us to do like this, free. But here, you can you can feel as you feel, you can say as you feel. This is really good. I'm very happy. The favorite moment, to see the people, talking to them, and when I see the faces of people, they're happy. This is the best time for me.
The favorite part was like when Mr. Sharon, he was singing, and he sang one of the songs which was really good, and also like at the end of the event, like everybody was dancing, and that there was one guy, like he made everybody dance. That was a good one too.
It's normal for me to make the people dancing, laughing, make them happy. That's the best.
We realized that there is no place to dance down from the stage. When they did that, and when I was like, yeah, come up the stage and dance, I was like, yeah, they can dance here. So it was like really awesome. I loved it. It's gonna happen again.
For Studio G, I'm Alvin Moore.
Aside from this event, there are other Persian celebrations coming to UNLV. All through, they are still in the early stages of planning.
And we have more information on the Malaysian Flight 370. With over 3 weeks of heartache and no answers, families of the missing passengers aboard are still holding on to the hope that their loved ones are out there. Among the flight's 239 missing passengers and crew was Lee Kim Fat's wife of 20 years, an 18-year Malaysia Airlines veteran. Flight attendant Fu Wei Yung left behind her loving family and children, who are starting to ask questions.
And I even promised them I'm going to bring her home. But I really got no idea where is she now. And now I'm not sure whether I could bring her home. You see?
Fat is angry with how the airline has handled the ordeal and has recently sought the help of a lawyer to address the fact that his main source of information comes from the media rather than the airline. Other families are voicing their frustration with the treatment they have been receiving as well, and have even filed petitions seeking records from Boeing and Malaysia Airlines.
We want Malaysia to apologize for the information that caused confusion in the first week, which delayed the search mission. And we want the Malaysian government to apologize for irresponsibly announcing on March 24th that the plane had crashed.
Amid the confusion, a Malaysia airline official has also retracted the prior press statement that said, beyond any reasonable doubt, none of those on board survived. The investigation is still ongoing, and the possibility of survivors has families praying for a miracle. This is really a tragedy. I cannot imagine how those families are, what they're going through.
It seems like they're forced to live play by play just to hear about their loved ones.
Yeah, and that's something I don't think anyone would ever want to go through. It's painful. I mean, you have no closure because they're missing,
The key word for this story is hope. This week brought sudden winds to the valley. After the break, Christina Davies will update us on our local and national weather.
Stay with us.
The name of my show is The Revolution, where you get your fix. What I do is I motivate individuals, and I play local artist music, and I get people connected to events on campus and in the community. Social revolution that's happening. We want to be able to be a catalyst for that and motivate people. This is Don Conquer, The Revolution, KUMV, HD2, 91.5 The Rebel.
Joining a student organization can enhance and redefine the UNLV college experience. UNLV has over 200 registered student organizations on campus and in the Las Vegas community, encompassing a variety of interests, activities, and beliefs among the student body. To explore, access, and join a student organization, visit the Involvement Center website under my.unlv.edu. Be a rebel. Get involved.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas, and right now you're looking over the strip and we do have some clouds out there, but it doesn't seem windy yet. And we will have a high of 62 today and a low of 50, and we are below average right now, but in 2011 it was 92 degrees on this day. So currently we're at 62 degrees and we do have breezy winds at 15 miles per hour. Right now in Henderson it is 59 degrees, downtown 62, Aliente is at 65, and Nellis at 59 degrees. Your breakdown for today: at 3 p.m. 65 with winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Those will stay constant throughout the day, and at 6 p.m. we'll drop down to 64, and then at 9 p.m. we'll be at 60 degrees. So for Mount Charleston, they'll have a high of 41 and a low of 18 with winds at 8 to 13 miles per hour. And Lake Mead will have a high of 68, a low of 55 with winds at 17 to 20 miles per hour, even gusts up to 24 miles per hour. So all that wind is bringing us mulberry, ash, and alder out here, and it will continue on until Friday, but we can expect those to go down. So we do have this low pressure system affecting our area with a cold front, and we can expect some rain showers in our area, but the rest of the country is having some wintry mix areas for the northwest. But the rest of our week seems to be warming up. Wednesday we'll have a chance of rain showers, and on Thursday we'll have some clear skies at 66 degrees, and then Friday we'll start warming up into the 70s, and on Sunday we'll start a warming trend and hopefully be back in the 80s. Now I'll send it over to you, Kyle.
Thanks for that weather update, Christina. Now, Thank you, Christina, once again. From the Sky is Dangerous, one local Las Vegas man has used his talent to put his name in a book for many to see. Reporter Elena Ledbetter had the opportunity to sit down with him to find out what, why, and how he broke his challenging record.
The way that you can move and float and flip and twist and anything you want to do, that level of freedom is like absolutely nothing else.
Flying is supposed to be impossible for humans, but UNLV alum Brad Hess made an exception to that rule, and he has a Guinness World Record to prove it.
Who doesn't want to have a Guinness World Record?
After 11 years of skydiving, the Vegas Indoor Skydiving general manager was ready to put his name in the book.
When I realized that I could do this, I mean, it was only a matter of training.
The previous record in the books was 37 somersaults in 1 minute, a number Brad already had beat before even entering the challenge.
I was training and doing consistently 50.
Friends, family, and coworkers were by his side cheering him on.
He's got the gangle arms, is what we call it. Really long arms, really long legs, and he's skinny, so he's like the perfect body type for flying.
Finally, on February 8th, Brad somersaulted his way into the Guinness Book of World Records.
And I did 53 front flips in 60 seconds.
This is the wind tunnel that Brad broke his record in. Underneath me is the fan that projects the 100 to 120 mile-an-hour winds. The winds that are comparable to a hurricane, just without the rain.
Indoor is an excellent simulation of the free fall aspect of outdoor skydiving. So it will replicate the sensation, the movements, and everything of the free fall aspect.
Through life, Brad has learned that you never know what the future holds until you pursue it. Who knows? It could be something like winning a Guinness World Record.
You don't know what your future is until you find it. And don't peg yourself into what you think you're going to be at 19 years old.
Reporting for Studio G, I'm Elena Ledbetter.
Brad and his crew at Vegas Indoor Skydiving aren't stopping with one record. They are currently training to beat several others, and Brad hopes to put their names in the Guinness Book of World Records very soon.
A Minnesota teenager got into some trouble at school over a Facebook post. However, the school ended up paying her $70,000. In 2007, Riley Stratton posted on her Facebook that she hated her teacher's aide. After catching wind of the post, her school demanded Stratton give them the log information and for her Facebook and email address. According to Stratton's attorney, that's when her rights were violated. The case was settled 3 years later, and the school has agreed to pay the young girl $70,000.
Riley's really a hero to me. She did, it's really quite a brave thing she's done. It was very upsetting to her, and for days she couldn't return to school, and she lost a tremendous amount of trust in adults through this process.
The school district insists that they did ask parents' permission for the information, but still agreed to pay the settlement. The new school district superintendent, Greg Smith, says that they'll do things differently and be more cautious about punishing students for things they say off campus and outside of school time.
Parents should be policing their kids' social media when they're off campus. School administrators shouldn't be policing kids' social media use. Educators can still be involved in the lives of young people. They can look out for the interests of young people. They just can't punish them for exercising their constitutional rights.
He hopes that this will be a trend picked up by other schools all over the nation.
Beards are in, and it seems the bigger the better, but some sporting beards are cheating. A couple of years ago, most plastic surgeons like Dr. Jamil Asaria only performed the odd facial hair transplant to cover a burn or a scar, not anymore.
It's grown from something that I would do maybe 2 or 3 procedures a year for full facial transplantation to something we're now doing on a weekly basis.
Depending on how many follicles you need, it can cost anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000.
We took 1,500 grafts all from the back of the scalp, and we transfer them all to these different regions.
The operation takes about 12 hours and leaves patients fully satisfied.
The beard, I think, is fantastic. I mean, there is definitely a trend towards having beards nowadays.
A year from now, these beards will be heading to Austria for the World Beard and Mustache Championships and have no objections to adding new members to its team. Through the course, there's been no ruling on the admissibility of boosted beards.
After the break, Zach Fuentes sits down with Councilman Stavros Anthony, who tells us what he thinks about the medical marijuana dispensaries coming soon to Las Vegas.
And later, reporter Victoria Janae tells us about a popular residence for UNLV students. Stay tuned.
Low Midweek Show. I specialize in underground local hip-hop music as well as your top hits. In the first hour, we play your top hits. Second hour, other local legends that you guys may have never heard of. What I want my listeners to realize is that there's more good music than what you hear on the radio. Just diversify your ears a little bit. I love it with all my heart. It's your boy Miles Lowe from the Miles Lowe Midweek Show. You can check my show out from therebelhd2.com.
I'm Christian FGY.
Kaylin Hype. And I'm Jay Luna. And we're Ill Vibe Fear. It's an underground hip-hop show here at UNLV, where we focus on making the hip-hop culture in the Las Vegas Valley more prevalent and just making people more aware of up-and-coming underground hip-hop artists.
Basically, we play what we like. It's really as simple as that. Most of the stuff we like are our hits, so it's both.
On KUNV-HD2, Las Vegas.
NSPCA, where no animal has an expiration date.
And welcome back, everyone. Today I'm joined by Councilman Stavros Anthony. Councilman, thank you so much for being here. Medical marijuana dispensaries have been such a huge topic over the last year or so, maybe even beyond that. A lot of people are saying we should have it. Some are saying that we should not. Now, you're one of those that voted against it. Can you kind of tell us why?
Sure. Well, first of all, we're talking about smoking marijuana as medicine, and I just can't find anywhere where it says smoking marijuana as medicine. In fact, I've been doing quite a bit of research on my own, and the Food and Drug Administration says it's a dangerous drug. The American Medical Association doesn't approve of it. The American Psychiatric Association, the Society of Addiction Medicine, the Nursing Association, every one of these says that there's no medicinal value to smoking marijuana, and it's actually dangerous for you. It can cause brain damage, it can cause lung problems. So how can I support something that is supposed to be medicinal when it's not? And that's one of the reasons why I voted against it.
Why do you think that some of the other council members have voted for it? What reasons do they find?
You know, most of the reasons that they've come up with is it's one of these where you know, it's moving all over the country. States are already approving it. The state of Nevada did. The voters did approve it twice, and it is part of our Constitution. So they're basically going with it's happening all over the country. Nevada approved it, so why should we stop it? And I can't in good conscience vote to approve something that is supposedly medicine that is not medicine. It's actually dangerous. You know, and part of it has to do with my police background, law enforcement in 29 years, and I've just seen marijuana just destroy people's families. And, you know, the marijuana of today is not the marijuana of 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's very, very potent today, and it's causing a lot of problems.
And one of the other things that people are finding is that, yes, it does create crime and everything, but people are also believing that it may lead to marijuana users moving on to worse drugs.
The studies have shown that marijuana is a gateway drug, that a lot of people who start smoking marijuana will eventually move on to cocaine, heroin, those sorts of things. But what I'm really concerned about is if you look at the medical marijuana states today, the juvenile use of marijuana is the highest in those particular states. So it's already been proven in other states that when we adopt medical marijuana here, and eventually it's really all about legalizing marijuana, the increase in the usage by our kids is going to skyrocket, and that's just not good for society.
Now, if and when this is approved and things go through for this, do you feel like the regulations that are in place are appropriate if it does have to happen?
Well, actually, Zach, that's what we're going through right now. The city of Las Vegas did approve it 5-2, so democracy, that's how democracy works. We're going to move forward with medical marijuana. So right now it's putting in place the land use issues, the zoning, the regulations, what it's going to look like. We're going through that process right now. I have no idea what it's going to look like because this is kind of new to Las Vegas, so we're kind of driving through that, and we'll see where we are 6 months from now.
Yeah, a lot of the business owners or the potential business owners, the ones going for these licenses, are saying it's such a hard process, and you guys as council members have so many applications to weed out because there's only going to be a certain amount allowed in Las Vegas.
Yeah, you know, we have been a little criticized because it's been taking a while, but you know what? We're only going to do this once, so let's take our time, let's do it right, let's make sure we listen to the public, see what they want. I don't want to, if you look at Colorado, it's almost mass chaos over there because they just threw this thing together. Everybody's smoking marijuana. It's not really even medicinal anymore. So I want to make sure that if we're doing this, this is going to be set up as a way for people to have access to marijuana that need it for what they say is a medicinal purpose. So I'm in favor of taking our time, and it's going to eventually come, but we want to make sure we do this right.
And finally, I'd like to ask you, what have your constituents said about this issue? Have any of them voiced their opinions to you?
When I voted no, when we finally voted, I had a lot of emails from the constituents that live in my ward saying, thank you for voting that way. We don't want medical marijuana dispensaries in our neighborhood. I represent kind of the northwest part of the valley, a lot of homes, and people don't want medical marijuana shops in their neighborhoods, by their schools, by their churches. That's the feedback that I was getting.
It's a hot topic issue right now, and it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Councilman, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you taking some time out, and we'll be right back after this break. Please stay here.
Volunteers of Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you.
Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Welcome back. Living in student housing has its challenges and its perks. Many who live in student housing say it gives them a college feel, and Rebel Place apartments give students an alternative to the dorms. Although they are not associated with UNLV, many students choose to live there. Reporter Victoria Janae has more.
Las Vegas, home of the flashing lights and filled with entertainment. With one of the top universities, UNLV students are focused on their education. But let's not forget about the lifestyle of a college student, with dorms on campus and ready available food courts just across the street from UNLV. Is none other than the best student living apartments called Rebel Place. So come with me as I dive into a Rebel Place experience and how we as college students can benefit from this amazing college life experience.
Well, it's all inclusive, so you don't have to worry about rent, utilities, or anything like that. It's all included into one price. We have a shuttle that you can take back and forth to campus. And also we have our furniture package.
A lot of really great amenities here at Rebel Place. We have a shuttle that takes students to the UNLV campus Monday through Friday, so they don't have to worry about that campus parking. We have a fully equipped clubhouse, gym, and pool resort area. So anything that people want to do, they have that option here. We're going to be newly renovated soon, so we're going to have a brand new leasing office, a brand new clubhouse, a lot of really great resident events. We have Pinterest nights, move-in parties, and we have this month a yappy hour because we are pet friendly here at Rebel Place.
If you want to move into bedroom C, you get $4.99 rent instead of paying the regular rate, which is $5.45. And then if you're interested in moving into the fall, we have our September rent free.
I'm Victoria Janae with Studio G.
If you'd like more information on Rebel Place, you can visit rebelplace.com.
Definitely visit rebelplace.com. But most people do agree on the value of money. According to recent reports, UNLV graduates seem to be getting more bang for their buck than graduates from many other public universities throughout the nation. Payscale.com ranked 911 public and private universities on how expensive it was to attend the schools and average alumni earnings. According to PayScale, an in-state student who lives on campus and receives financial aid spends about $75,000 to graduate from UNLV. The price may seem high, but the expected salary for a UNLV graduate is over $42,000 a year, which means that the average UNLV grad earns a 9% annual return on their college investment when looking at public universities. UNLV ranked 129th among the 419 public universities, according to PayScale. UNR graduates only earn 8.7%, which means UNLV may be a better investment. Although UNLV is a good investment, our 6-year graduation rate is lower than the national average, sitting at 43%. In order to reap these benefits, students must graduate and get their degrees.
That's a good news for us, right?
Yeah, that's great news. A lot of people talk about comparisons of UNLV and UNR,
yeah.
But now we definitely have one thing over them.
Yes, we definitely do.
That's all the news that we have for you today. I'm Kyle King.
And I'm Daphne Barreto. We'll see you tomorrow for another edition of Studio G.